Hello and welcome to Game and Chat Lite, where we talk about news and updates in the world of Nintendo. I am your host Mike, and joining me today is my bro Jack, and also editor-in-chief of Mike Tender 64. Bro, come and say hello.
Hello! Hello, everyone. How are we doing today?
That's all right. I think you may have caught yourself in a door or something then. Anyway, we are here to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, which went live early today as of recording this video. And oh my word, what a Direct it was. So much information, so many games coming to the system, so much learnt about the system. So why don't you give us a quick rundown and then we'll start going into things more in depth.
Okay, so in terms of like a quick rundown, as Mike knows, I've just been going through like the support site to learn anything additional that I can about the console. So for starters, as we know, the new cartridges are going to be red in color, but they are exactly the same size as those of the regular Switch games. But these cartridges are actually being called Nintendo Switch 2 Game Key Cards. These game key cards are different from the regular game cards because they do not contain the full game data. Instead, the game card keys are your keys to downloading the full game on your system via the internet. After it's downloaded, you can then play the game by inserting the game key card into your system and starting it up as you would a standard physical cartridge. So, from already that alone, it sounds like although there's physical games, you're basically putting like physical into your brand new Nintendo Switch console just to download the game. It's like the good old days of the download discs.
Oh my word. Oh my word. I mean, that is just a massive bombshell right there because basically, we've all been hoping that Nintendo will maintain physical media. But it sounds to me, from what you've read from the Nintendo support, and we're going to make sure that this is on the screen so that people who are watching / listening to this, sorry, I've got a bit of a lisp today, listening to this, will be able to see this information, and we'll also provide a link in the description below as well, so they can find this information for themselves. It almost sounds like they are phasing out physical media all for digital media now, and it kind of makes you wonder why they'd even do these game key cards in the first place. Why not just make it digital only? But hey ho, that just sounds weird to me. That really does.
It
I mean,
does, but now we
obviously,
know why you get 256 gigabyte data on the hard storage. You're gonna
yes.
need it.
So, and even then, that's not going to be enough. I mean, hey, in the beginning, yes, of course, because if the games seem to stick around the same sort of size that they have been on, like the Nintendo Switch, mind you, saying that, if they're all going to be supporting 4K, it probably is going to be a lot more space for each game. So we are probably going to be looking at like 20 gig minimum for Nintendo Switch games from first party. So. Okay, so tell us more about the Nintendo Switch itself.
Instead of being able to use micro SD cards with your Nintendo Switch 2, you will need to use micro SD express cards, which, while better in functionality and performance and faster loading times, they do come at a higher price point. So when you're planning on buying your brand new Nintendo Switch 2 this June, on June 5th, 2025, and you're already going, I need 2 sets of Joy-Cons, I want 2 of those new Pro controllers, I want the camera accessory, I want the console, I want Mario Kart as my launch title, but then I also want like the other games that are all releasing on launch days, such as Street Fighter 6 with Amiibo, not just 3 figurines, but 22 Amiibo cards. Yeah, but more on that later.
Amiibo.
You also then have to factor in a very expensive micro SD express cards in your spending as well. So where that argument is like, oh, it's like £890 or £900 to buy a PlayStation 5 Pro, you're looking about the same to buy everything you could possibly need on launch day with your new Nintendo Switch 2. And if you're a Zelda fan, you're going to want to pick up 4 Zelda amiibo as well, because we're getting 4 new Tears of the Kingdom amiibo.
Oh. I mean, I would definitely be adding them to my collection. My problem is because of my personal circumstances, whether I'll even be able to pick up a Nintendo Switch 2 on launch day. I think I'll probably be picking it up a little bit later down the line, and maybe having to sell half of my Switch library
I've
in
got a
order
solution.
to physically pay for it.
I've got a solution. I'll buy it all on launch day, but you'll need to pay the plane ticket to fly over it. So while I'm at work, you can do it all for me. You can set it up, you can play, you can do the reviews while I carry on working to pay it off.
I mean, fortunately, they did say something about game sharing. So one person can have the physical game, and then they can share it. Uh, Compatible games, obviously, compatible games. Not all games are going to have
Compatible
it, but
games only, but it's only done locally. So when you're sharing it to the other consoles, they have to literally be in the room with you. So it's time for a Nintendo Switch party.
yay!
But also, don't forget, another accessory that we're going to have to buy on day one is the Nintendo GameCube controller, because Nintendo GameCube is coming to Nintendo Switch Online on launch day with the brand new controller, which has the new chat button, the C button on it as well. So, yeah, that's another thing you're going to buy on launch day.
Yep.
I
So,
might just.
like for the GameCube, like you said, we've got Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Switch Online, which will be available for Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack members,
Yeah. So,
which will
I'm
include The Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker, Soul Calibur. I can't remember whether it was Soul
Soul
Calibur.
Calibur 2 with Link in it
Yep,
and other
and
games
also
with
F
T for it to be
Zero
released
GX.
at launch day.
Mhm.
Yeah. But let's just put it this way: you have to start planning a wedding, and everything Switch 2 related is just to be one of your wedding presents on the list. It'll pay
Funny you
for
should say
itself. It'll pay for itself. Oh, we don't need cutlery. We don't need, on the counter dishwasher. We just need Pro Controller, Joy-Con
that.
2, Mario Kart World.
I mean, I mean, obviously, when you pick up the system, you're going to get the two Joy-Con with it anyway. That's the norm. So I can hold off getting hold of a Pro controller, although I will eventually get one because obviously it has a microphone jack included as well in the actual controller. So Nintendo are finally stepping into
See, it's
2025.
it's all good saying that, but the fact of the matter is, you got to remember Mario Kart World. Sorry, the new Mario
Yeah.
Kart game we're getting, woo, which is basically has a free roam mode where you can go off the tracks and just be Mario Kart open world and drive wherever you want. It's a launch day title, so it's all well and good saying I don't need to buy a spare Joy-Con on day one. You lie. You lie. Because you're going to need to buy another set of Joy-Con. So at least that way, four of you can play together. So the minute you get anyone around your house, you can play together as a foursome from the outset. So already Nintendo knows what they're doing. They're making us have to buy a second set because Mario Kart is coming on day one.
What I would like to know is whether the original Nintendo Switch Pro controller is compatible, not necessarily with the chat feature, because obviously the Nintendo Switch controller doesn't have, the chat button. That's exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2. But, there are games that are coming over to Nintendo Switch 2 that are compatible. However, they have to use the original Joy-Con controllers. So
Yes, games, same
maybe,
those
yeah, go on.
games such as Ring Fit Adventure, Nintendo Labos 1, 2, and 3, Wario where Move It, and Everybody 1 2 Switch and 1 2 Switch. But since you asked about accessible devices that are compatible, I've got good news. All original Joy-Con controllers will be supported on Nintendo Switch 2. The
Brilliant.
Nintendo Switch Pro controller will be supported. The Nintendo Entertainment System controller is compatible. It cannot actually be attached to the Nintendo Switch 2, but instead it will have to have a Joy-Con charging stand in order to charge it. Same can
Yeah.
be said for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System controller and the Nintendo 64 controller and the Sega Genesis control pads. But What is not compatible is obviously the original Nintendo Switch dock, the original chargers, the HDMI cable, and micro SD cards, which we already covered, and Joy-Con straps. You won't be able to use them in the new Nintendo Switch Joy-Con 2 controllers.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough, and we kind of knew that this is where Nintendo were going when they released the charging dock for the Nintendo Joy-Cons and things, and it's like, okay, well, this is coming out like 7 years after the fact when other third-party publishers have been doing it since day one. So I mean, I've already got a third-party one which I've had for yonks anyway, so that doesn't really bother me. I've also got my original Nintendo Switch. I can still charge me controllers on there. As we said about original games, coming over to the Nintendo Switch 2, you'll be able to use the original controllers for the games. And I think you also said about Game Builder Garage as well.
Yeah,
But it's a shame that you won't be able to use the Nintendo Switch 2 controllers with that because obviously that's got mouse controls and that would be ideal for Game Builder Garage too. But you also
yeah,
touched on a very, very good point that the Switch 2 controllers don't have an IR camera.
yeah. So just before we start recording this, in the control specifics and design specifics, the reason why certain games are not fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2 is because the original Joy-Con, the right one, has the infrared camera on Switch 1. On Nintendo Switch 2, although we've got the brand new chat function and mouse control function, the infrared is gone. So that is no more. Rest in peace, infrared camera sensor. No motion controls supported in that aspect. But other than the motion controls are still around.
I mean, it was a very underutilized feature anyway. I think only very, very few games used it, including like Nintendo Labo, obviously Game Builder Garage as well. And then there was another mini game as well that used the IR camera for like
Yeah.
seeing in the dark and that kind of thing. But talking about the chat feature, now we got to see about the Nintendo Switch 2 camera, which is obviously an external device which you have to pick up separately. But you can attach that to your Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch also has a cooling fan in it as well.
A
You can
greater
use the
cooling fan, yeah,
camera.
with the USB-C port on the top. So if you're playing in handheld or tabletop, you can actually charge the device from the top as opposed to just on the bottom. You can plug your camera in the top. Obviously, with this new game chat feature, it allows you to play online with friends, whether they're in the same room or whether you're just miles apart or in our case countries apart. You don't even have to be playing the same game. You could all be playing a different game, but you've got that button toggled on. You're chatting with your friends and family. You can even share your screen so everyone can see what game you are playing, where you are. And if you do use the camera, you can put yourself in the game. So with Super Mario Party Jamboree, when you're seeing like your characters like Mario and Luigi, there'll be a thought bubble next to them with your actual face next to them.
I really like this idea. Well, obviously, this is something. It's what building upon something that has already been a feature in most games anyway. Online game chat and all that. I mean, Nintendo did something really, really ad hoc with it, with like using the Nintendo Switch Online app itself for smart devices in order for like game chat, but you couldn't actually do it with inside the system.
Yeah.
And then other
But,
people having to use the likes of Discord and even ourselves. But I would like to see that recording or streaming games now using this apparatus like game chat and stuff like that. Would you be able to do that with standard like capture cards, like the kind of the capture card that we've got? Just simply put it in, record, and because you are chatting within the actual system itself, and you can actually put yourself into the game thanks to with a camera. It'll be interesting to see that actually. I think it's going to make a lot more people into content creation being a hell of a lot more
well,
accessible.
if it is like that, it would be accessible and it'd be a lot easier for everyone to get involved. But just to mention it, with Game Chat, there is support for chat up to 12 people in 12 different locations. So you can chat up to 12 people. But if you're screen sharing with videos, you can only have a maximum of 4 doing it at a time.
That is fair. That is fair because I have seen in the presentation trailer where you had 4 people at the bottom, and this is on this actual, TV screen. So obviously, your TV screen is going to be reduced somewhat for the actual, game that you're playing or the screen that you are,
Well, but this is
sharing.
the thing. You can actually adjust the screen. You can even if it's only one friend playing, you can adjust the screen so it's bigger, and you can just basically watch your friend play while you're doing nothing. It has been said until the end of March 2026, Game Chat will be used without needing Nintendo Switch Online membership, but after that, it will be required. So you'll get about
Okay.
9 months of it for free, and then after that, you need to pay for it. When
Understandable.
starting
I
the
mean, is that
session,
going to be an extra service or just part of the Nintendo Switch Online? Because most people will probably have that for Mario Kart World anyway if they're playing that online. But
well, so far it's just supposed to be packaged with Nintendo Switch Online subscription, which, if that's the case, brilliant. Because we're getting even more for our buck at this rate, and they haven't upgraded the price yet, which is perfect. But so just on a quick thing, when initiating the game chat sessions, users are able to invite people from their friends list. This is part of the safety features that are in place to make sure that everyone is having a safe and secure chat experience, including getting the ability to report people as well. This is because Nintendo recognise the important roles parents and guardians play in their children's online experiences, so children under the age of 16 will need parent or guardian to approve their use of Game Chat as well via the Nintendo Switch Parental Controls app.
yeah,
So
I mean,
not
that is
only are they
understandable.
so not only are they including this feature, again, it's going to be limited. It's not like you're going to just talk to a random stranger. You have to have them on your friends list first.
Right. I mean, that's understandable, especially like if you're playing Splatoon or Splatoon 3. Now, it did surprise me that we didn't see an announcement for Splatoon 4, but we did see some Splatoon gameplay. And obviously, as you were saying about Game Chat, limiting it to only friends. So you'll be able to talk to the people in your squad, but you won't be hearing random people from the other team, shouting profanities at you. So, yeah, I can get on board with that. So
Okay.
let's talk games. Let's talk games because we haven't talked games yet. What new games have we got coming to the Nintendo Switch 2?
Well, obviously the big one and the show opener was Mario Kart World, a brand new
Whoa.
racing game which has some of the usual modes that we know, like Grand Prix. But where this differs is once you have finished racing, you then have to drive to where like the next cup takes place. So, and you're not allowed to be idle. You need to play. But then you have like multiple modes. One of which I covered on a bit earlier is free roam. In free roam, you can be going down the track and then going, you know what? I'm going to turn left and I'm going to go. I've played Final Fantasy. Oh, what was it? 15, the one where we were there in the car just driving a lot.
That's full.
It's like
Faulty.
that now with Mario Kart.
No,
Yeah, that's Final Fantasy 15 with Noctis and his gang when they're all in the car. They're just driving most of the time. You can do that now in Mario Kart. Obviously, we in the trailer we did see costumes, but it almost looks like it's when they eat food or interact with certain items, the costumes come into effect. But
yeah,
we'll find out more about Mario Kart soon enough because there is a Nintendo Direct in 15 days about it.
yeah. It's April 17th, isn't it?
April 17th. So just in case you're not burnt out by 2 Nintendo Directs, we've got Nintendo Treehouse on April 3rd and 4th, and now we're going to have a Mario Kart Direct on the 17th.
What can I say? Nintendo fans are finally eating good this month.
What you can say is you're welcome from the sky and the set. But yeah, so Mario Kart World is the big one. The second absolute big one that we're going to mention was the last game shown on the entire Direct, Donkey Kong Bonanza. We are getting a new 3D platforming Donkey Kong game with Donkey Kong going back to his original design and the design that we're going to be seeing in Mario Kart World.
He's finally here, performing for you. It's the leader of the DK crew. Hey,
DK Donkey
woo,
Kong.
Donkey Kong. He's back, baby.
He is
Obviously,
back
he's been given
indeed.
a new makeover. Obviously, that looks more like what we've seen in the initial Nintendo Switch 2 presentation trailer. So it seems to have gone a little bit back to his original roots, kind of like in between the original Donkey Kong, what we saw in the film, and a blend of like Rare's design as well. It's interesting to say the least, and he's also wearing pants. My word! Well, work pants anyway.
I mean, ironically, right, when I was watching it, just the way of the trailer looked and opened a part of me is thinking, this is like Banjo Kazooie. And it's like, no, don't say it. Don't get your hopes up. And then I was like, yeah, but no. It wasn't just Banjo Kazooie that Rare did. They did do Donkey Kong. It's like, are you saying it? Can it be Donkey Kong instead? And then it was Donkey Kong. And I was like,
I mean, yeah.
yay, you're letting me be
And
myself.
it's almost like it's in a destructible world as well, or for the most part, a destructible.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
But
stuff you could
even just in the PR, it goes crash, bash, and climb through nearly everything in DK's path and tear off chunks of terrain to swing around and throw in groundbreaking exploration. It says it on the box. And speaking of the box,
you just know that there's going to be at least one person out there who's going to make it their mission to destroy the whole world in Donkey Kong Bonanza, just
dude,
to
I'm
see
going to
if it's
repeat
possible.
Wreck-It Ralph. I'm going to wreck it. And you can wreck it on July 17th. Yes,
Wow,
that
they
is
are
right.
really knocking
Donkey
this out of the
Kong
park.
Bonanza has a release date. It might not be like Mario Kart World and so many other games that was revealed in the trailer that are all releasing day one, but we only have to wait one extra month. So your wallet has like 1 month to recover, so you can afford the $60 to $70 game that it is. But
Mind
it
you,
has been reported.
fortunately, because of the way that they're going to be doing it with these game key cards, everyone's probably going to be buying it digitally anyway. So,
Yeah. But yeah, no. From what's been seen already, Donkey Kong Bonanza is going to retail at $70, whereas Mario Kart World is going to retail at $80.
80?
Yeah.
Ooh, hold on. I think my wallet's just flatlined. I'm
So
going to have to
like
resuscitate
for
it.
me, that's going to be like £60 to £70.
Yeah, and for me, it's probably going to be around about €80. So, yeah, that
Yeah,
is harsh.
I know, and that's. But on the plus side, it's
Wait,
only
there's a
seen.
plus side?
The plus side is obviously because now we know that the Nintendo Switch 2 is releasing on on June 5th. We also know that it has a retail price. I mean, in America, it's $449. But so
Mhm.
far, on the two bundles that are available in the UK, one is £395 for the console itself, and for the console that comes bundled with the digital version of Mario Kart, is about £425. That I
That's not.
can live with. That I can live
Yeah,
with all day long. For
yeah,
an extra 30 quid instead of paying potentially 70, I can get Mario as well. That's going to be worth it. That's
yeah.
like getting
I
over half price. In fact, I might get it, that specific bundle, just for that reason alone.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I
Uh,
may have to do some heavy convincing with my partner and say, darling, it's Mario Kart. You love Mario Kart, but it's going to cost X amount.
yeah, actually do, because she does love Mario Kart. Sweetheart, you love Mario Kart. There's a new game coming out. Can you buy me the console, the controller, and the game, please?
Can you buy me everything with it, please? I love you. Love you. You know that
Um,
thing you've always wanted to do? I'll do that. I thank you. For the record, I do mean getting married. Oh dear. Oh dear. So yeah, I mean, we did get that. There was also some gameplay shown for, is it Kirby's Air Riders as well? So I mean, not only are we getting Mario Kart World, we are also getting another kart-esque game or racing game with Kirby Air Riders. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, the only thing I can tell you about it is that it's releasing this year, and Sakurai himself is directing it. He did previously say he was working on a new game, and it is Kirby Air Riders. And that is Air Riders. I know it sounds so similar to the original title, Kirby Air Ride, but is Riders. There is an E, an R, and an S on the end. Sorry, no, an R and an S on the end of it.
Well, as we are coming towards the end of this podcast, because obviously this is the light episode, let's go and do a quick recap of some of the games that are getting the Switch 2 edition upgrade. So we've got The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep, which both of them are getting a noticeable upgrade because for those who have like the Nintendo Switch Online app, which is actually going to have its name changed as well, you'll get a new Zelda Notes feature. So when you're using the app whilst playing the game, it will actually direct you to where Korok seeds are and things that you might have missed previously, as well as obviously there's going to be performance increases. You've also got a new version of Super Mario Party Jamboree coming out with a plus TV mode. So, with this, it's the same original game, but it's now going to take advantage of the new Nintendo Switch 2 camera. So you can put yourself in the game, which is perfect for the Bowser's Live stage mode, because you're going to have to be in it to win it with like cars that you literally need to blow on and like clap and you need to jump if you're going to come away a winner. But we've also had Nintendo Switch 2 editions of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond revealed, which will have a performance mode.
Yes.
But then you've also got an upgraded version of Pokemon Legends ZA. Sid Meier's Civilization 7 is getting a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. So that will have the mouse control function. And for those who are curious, the way the Nintendo Switch 2 editions will work is you can either choose to, for the ones that are available physically, buy it physically, or if you've got the previous version of the game because you had it on Nintendo Switch 1, you can buy an upgrade thing. The upgrade thing is basically a digital download. Sort of imagine like an expansion pass, but it's an expansion pass to the new content and performance. And according to the Japanese sites, depending on how much of an upgrade the edition is, can be around $10 to $20 more. So in like Zelda's case and Super Mario Party Jamboree, that'll probably be a £20 or $20 upgrade. Whereas games like Pokemon and Metroid, they might only be a $10 increase.
Okay, and it's worth pointing out as well, I don't think it was confirmed for all of them, but at least some titles that have got the Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade feature, they can be downloaded for free if you have a Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion subscription. So there is that. What we don't know is whether that is only for the single subscription, single member subscription, or for the family plan as well. So that's to be said.
More details for. But obviously, there are three types of games Nintendo Switch 2 can play. First being Nintendo Switch 2 exclusives. Second being Nintendo Switch games that are compatible. And the third being Nintendo Switch 2 edition games.
So,
not every Switch game is going to get an upgrade, but those that do, you'll need to pay for it. And, other games that have just been revealed for it as launched on, we're getting Yakuza 0, we're getting Elden Ring, we're getting Tony Hawk's Skater Pro 3 and 4.
Deltarune 1, 2, 3, and 4.
1, 2,
also, Final Fantasy. Sorry, I was about to play The Legend of Zelda then, but like The Legend of Zelda Age of Imprisonment, or Hyrule Warriors, sorry, Age of Imprisonment. But what I actually wanted to say was Final Fantasy VII Retrograde is also coming to Nintendo Switch 2
remake
as well. Is the remake.
We've
and
also
Cyberpunk
Fairy H2 Remaster, Borderlands 4, Fortnite's coming, Enter the Gungeon 2, Hitman World of Assassination, Signature Edition, and most importantly, one that made us both excited, Project 007. James.
I am so hyped for that. I've been wanting a new James Bond game for yonks. That really be good.
I'll be very honest.
Time will tell.
I'll be very honest. Me being the Zelda fan I am, naturally Hyrule Warriors is my game of the show. What about you? What was your standout thing that made you go?
I mean, the thing that really made me go, uh, strangely enough, right? I mean, I absolutely love Hyrule Warriors, but I saw the James Bond uh, teaser first, and that did it for me. And it's like, well, IOI have done pretty good with the Hitman series. So you know, I feel like the series, like the James Bond franchise, is in good hands. And if they bring over like half the charm that Hitman has, yeah, it's going to be pretty darn good. But then Metroid Prime 4 Beyond also looked absolutely amazing. And I'll tell you what, we didn't even talk about, you know, the actual hardware itself, where it's got up to 120 frames per second for obviously supported games. Also 4K in docked mode. I think it's about 1080p when in handheld. So even then, you know, I mean, we're looking at something that's far more potent this time. It's also got like proper like air cooling technology or whatever they want to call it, that will help keep the console, you know, cool when, you know, running these games at, you know, your high frames per second and stuff like that. So on the whole, I am all for the Nintendo Switch 2 now. I mean, the original presentation did not do it any justice. I mean, we saw the little teaser for Mario Kart World, and then that was about it. And it's like, oh, was that it? Am I supposed to get hyped for that? And then it's like, they've really knocked it out of the park with this presentation, which was well over an hour long. And if anybody wants to see that, we'll be sure to provide a link in the description as well. And anything that, and pretty much everything that we've talked about today will also be on our website, mytendo64.com, where Jack has been painstakingly updating the website today, and at the time of this recording, updating all the information and the news that has come out from the Direct.
Yes. And just before we go, obviously the most important thing we can say is anyone that does want to now pre-order the Nintendo Switch 2, you can do so from April the 9th onwards.
Ooh, just in time for your birthday.
And no,
On
a
April
birthday present. A birthday present would be actually being able to pre-order it and not doing a repeat of trying to pre-order
5th.
the Pokemon Center and it's out of stock.
And it's gone. Okay, sir, we'll just get you ready for your
The only,
pre-order, and it's
I
gone.
kid you not, the only plus side is I've recently got a huge increase in my credit card. Talking about good timing.
Well, folks, thank you very much for listening to this episode of Gaming Chat Lite. I have been Mike,
I've been Jack.
and until next time.
Keep on gaming.